RWA, or real world assets, is pretty much the biggest sector in cryptocurrency right now. That happens to be my opinion. But you also have some major players in the space that are occupying RWAs at the moment. Larry Fink, for example, BlackRock's CEO. He's a major supporter recently of tokenization of assets. And that's a very clear sign that RWA as a sector, as an industry, is not only here to stay, but it's expected to grow exponentially. And then, of course, one project that has recently been in the spotlight for all the right reasons is Ondo Finance, ticker ONDO. We've recently seen a lot of exciting and positive news coming from the team at Ondo. Just this year, we have RWA that's expected to be a $50 billion market, which is impressive. But in just 5 years, by 2030, that number is expected to swell 50 times to $30 trillion. We're therefore going to ask the all-important question, how many ONDO tokens do you need today? Do you need to acquire today at current prices to become a crypto millionaire at the height of this crypto bull cycle? Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. All the best of luck if you choose to invest, whether that's into Ondo, other RWA projects, other altcoins. I wish you very, very well. Just remember that I'm not a financial or investment advisor, and that means by extension that this video is not official financial or investment advice. Ondo Finance has been on fire. They just had their recent Ondo Summit that happened in New York City. That was an impressive event and very positive for them as a project. Really, we saw an avalanche of positive news coming out of that. You may want to check out this recent video on Ondo Finance. That's where we broke down sort of the major announcements, coverage of things like Donald Trump Jr., who was actually a last-minute surprised guest speaker. We talked more about the summit in that video, but I'm going to give you a short recap here as well. Basically, as a project, Ondo Finance caters to institutions, but that's not exclusively what they do. There's also still room for retail to enjoy the products that they have on offer. Ondo Finance is compliant, so before you can start using their platforms, you do need to complete a KYC, a Know Your Customer. Ondo offers two products and various platforms, actually. Those two products are two different stable coins. We have, first of all, USDY, which is a yield-bearing token, and this is transferable. At the beginning of each month, Ondo determines the yield for that particular month. The interest compounds daily, which is nice. And Ondo secures USDY with short-term US treasuries. So USDY investments are transferred into US dollars, and then the USD goes into their investment accounts. However, kind of ironically, this coin is not available in the US, unfortunately. So that was USDY, and Ondo also has a second stable coin called OUSG, which is aimed more specifically at institutions, but also qualified purchasers. That does give retail a chance at this if they want. So for example, OUSG stablecoin is now available on the XRP ledger. And this is aiming, like I said, more at institutions. But Ondo also works together with BlackRock's BUIDL fund, that's BUIDL. Minimum investments here are pretty significant. $5 million is the floor. Minimum. $5 million minimum investment. I don't have that kind of dry powder lying around, but there is a little bit of a hack here with the OUSG token. If you invest with that minimum threshold drops 50 times to only $100,000. Still a lot of money, certainly, but it becomes at least more accessible, more attainable for retail. OUSG stands for Ondo Short-Term U.S. Government Treasuries, and this is also backed by U.S. Treasuries. And this is also the first time that non-Americans have easy access to investing in treasuries and earning interest in USD, which is nice. Non-US residents have limitations. If you're a non-US resident and you've dabbled in this before, you know that limitations have always existed when it comes to this. Another major advantage of Ondo is that it's open 24/7, right? This is something that's coming from the crypto space. 24/7 is the standard here, unlike traditional finance. And so that kind of availability means that you can access it during things like weekends, during bank holidays, during late night hours. So that's very, very convenient. This Altcoin Buzz Spotlight video is sponsored by BYDFI. And if you're an American, then I am talking to you specifically because we have found an exchange that gives you the best of both worlds here. If you want to start trading spot markets on over 400 trading pairs without KYC, you can. And if you want to trade perpetual markets on over 150 trading pairs with KYC, that also accepts Americans and Canadians too, by the way, then you can do that as well. the only exchange we've seen in the market that lets you do simple spot trading without KYC and perps trading with KYC that Americans can use is BYDFI. BYDFI is giving you all the tools that you need without the crazy requirements that sometimes are entailed with these things. None of that here with BYDFI. And right now they have an amazing altcoin promotion going on that you need to see. It's only going to be around for the next 2 weeks, so the end of February here. Starting with deposits as low as $100, you can start earning bonuses in your account just for making trades that you're already doing anyway. With trading volume starting at just half a Bitcoin, you start earning bonuses to help give your account that extra dry powder that it needs. If you have not checked out BYDFI yet, now is the time to give it a chance. Use the link that you'll find in the description of this video below, sign up, take advantage of our offer without any KYC necessary, and start trading. As far as recent news that we've seen out of Ondo lately, like I mentioned a moment ago, they just had their Ondo Summit in New York City. That happened on the 6th of February. And this is where they launched a lot of their recent news updates. They had some pretty big announcements, actually. First of all, Ondo launched their global markets platform, and this is something that I've mentioned before. So it's not exactly breaking news, but it is important to reiterate because here you have access to tokenized stocks, bonds, and ETFs, exchange-traded funds. Unfortunately, once again, this one is not available in the United States. We also saw this major announcement in that Ondo now has its own layer 1 blockchain. That's because regular chains didn't offer what Ondo needed. And so regulated assets need sometimes special attention. Ondo's proprietary L1 can handle these institutional grade real world assets according to their needs. And so this is a chain that's a mix of public and permission blockchains. And then during the summit, they had Donald Trump Jr., who was featured as a surprise speaker, which actually fits pretty well into the whole Trump DeFi platform, World Liberty Financial, ticker of course WLFI, wealthy. And of course, all of this is interconnected because World Liberty invested $5 million in total into ONDO. Ondo further strengthened that relationship when they announced a strategic collaboration officially with WLFI. Let's talk Ondo Tokenomics here. So we have ONDO's most recent support was around the 60 cents range. And really, it hasn't been below that support since March of last year. So personally, I don't see ONDO hitting the support anytime soon. The resistance on the flip side is $2.14, which is also its current all-time high from only 2 months ago. Once it breaks through that resistance, $2.14 again, we're in price discovery territory. Let's consider briefly ONDO's tokenomics. There is a vesting schedule in place here, which is not unusual. However, there's only one unlock per year. That's each year on the 18th of January for the next 3 years. After the recent unlock of 1.94 billion ONDO worth $2.72 billion, its price actually surprisingly didn't crash. This speaks to the resilience of the project, the faith that token holders have in the price of ONDO. Holders held on to their tokens. And this is kind of surprising. It's typically not the case for these major unlocks with altcoins. However, out of the top 10 billion Ondo tokens, we only have 3.1 billion in circulation, so only 31%. That's not great. So how many ONDO do you need to become a millionaire if you're buying today and then presumably selling at the height of the bull cycle here? We're considering the current price of ONDO for these calculations to be $1.35. Just doing some simple math here, at $1.35 to be a millionaire right now, you need 740,740 ONDO. But let's consider some future targets here. If we assume that ONDO could hit $4, again, pretty simple math, divide $1 million, which is our objective, divide that by $4, you would need 250,000 ONDO at that price. Buying 250,000 ONDO at current prices would cost you $337,500 today. Let's be a little bit more optimistic and consider some other price targets. The next couple of steps to keep in mind would be $7.50 and $10 for every ONDO token. Dividing $1 million by those two figures gives us 133,333 tokens and 100,000 Ondo tokens, respectively. The costs associated with acquiring that much Ondo today would be just under $180,000, and then 100,000 Ondo times $1.35, $135,000. Now, if we really want to be optimistic and consider the possibility of a $20 Ondo price in this bull run, That's actually pretty simple arithmetic. Nice round numbers. We divide $1 million by $20. We'd need 50,000 Ondo today. To acquire that currently at $1.35 per token would cost us $67,500. Now, if we really look into the future here, if we extrapolate and we consider the fact that this RWA space is expected to do a 50x, and we apply that to the price of Ondo, not this bull cycle, but maybe in 2030, just hypothetically here, let's consider a 50x for the price of ONDO. That would bring us to a price of about $67.50. At that price, again, in 2030, hypothetically, you would only need 14,815 Ondo to be a millionaire. And at current prices of $1.35, the cost of acquisition for that many Ondo tokens would be $20,000. It really does seem to me, at least, that this is more of a long-term play, a long-term hold than most other altcoins in the space, than most other cryptos. So there's very high potential here, certainly. I'm optimistic. Again, not really short-term necessarily, but longer-term, this makes a lot of sense. It seems to be where a lot of industries are moving, and it certainly helps to have a partner, a supporter in the form of World Liberty Financial, and probably more importantly, a lot more importantly, BlackRock and Larry Fink that believes in what Ondo is doing. Let me know what you think the top of Ondo is going to be, ONDO, in terms of price in the comments below. Be sure to also join the discussion on Discord and X. You can find those links in the description below.